Beginner's technique number 5.
Don't get hit from behind. Go ahead and hit me from behind. Now, I ran away on that aspect. That's not a check. We're running away now. Go ahead and do it again. I'm going to run away from him, creating my distance. Once I get this, I want to run away. I want to create spatial distance because this distance is going to help me get my bearings back. If I'm not checking him with that leg, I want to run, get my bearings, and see what I'm dealing with. Because what if I'm not dealing with one person? I already got a head start. So once you have your head start and you turn back around and measure this cat up, you know, okay, he by himself. Oh, he got his homie over here, he got his homie over there. So it's 3-on-1. Maybe I want to leave the situation. I got a head start. I want to break out. So you either checking with your leg or you're running from the situation. And it's not a coward move to run away from the situation. You're running away to check out what you're dealing with. Creating space. Creating space after the hit. You want to check after the hit or you want to create space after the hit. You never want to just take that hit and just turn back around without creating that space with that check or creating that space with that run. We want to move accordingly so we can get our bearings back and then map out our attack. So prepare yourself for the hit. Prepare yourself for the unexpected hit. Get bombed on. Have your training partner let you feel the power of a punch, whether expected or unexpected. So you're able to react and not freeze in the midst of combat.
Breaking news, I'm giving away 200 of our new Commandos. It's based on the original covert Vietnam SOG knife. This is a $100 knife, but it's yours for free from the link in the description. Just pay a small shipping fee. Okay, back to our video.
Beginner's technique number 4.
We talked about distance being very important in terms of defense and offense. This correlates to the timing aspect of actually throwing the punch. If I'm outside of range 2 to 6 inches from Eric, he obviously cannot hit me unless he's got extra long arms, and it's going to be difficult for me to hit him from this position, which is fine. This is exactly where I want to be. Go ahead and assume a ready position. Remember to line up shoulder to shoulder on your opponent. Okay, don't offer him your center line. Keep it oriented away from him. If it just so happens that he was a southpaw, switch positions. Okay, try to step off to his backside a little further rather than stand right in front of him here. Okay, come to the outside of his lead shoulder. Switch back over. Okay, so how do I get from here to there to hit him? All right, first technique is an offensive technique. Simply what I need to do is close this gap here. The average gap, what we call reactionary gap, is about 6 feet between people. It's something we naturally tend to do. If we were to square off with somebody in a fight, or if you take two people that are totally inexperienced when it comes to combat or fighting, they will naturally square off at about 6 feet away and give themselves some distance, okay? That's what we normally term as a gap, or the reactionary gap. We need to cross that reactionary gap. The way we're going to do that is throw the punch simultaneously as I step off with that lead leg. Remember what I said earlier about movement? If I move forward, I move with the lead leg first. We're going to use that principle and roll it into the offensive technique. So as I punch, I step and I close that gap. Once I've delivered my punch, I step back out and I clear and I move off in a different direction. So we have our distance. Keep your hand down. When I'm ready to throw my technique, step and punch, clear, and then move out to a different angle. Throwing the punch itself, obviously we're attacking the head. We're trying to affect or inflict a concussion if we can. What is the actual target area? Is it the chin? Is it the jaw? The answer is no. The actual target is the throat. Now, does that make any sense? Well, you'll see here in a minute that it does make any sense. The natural reaction, if I were to throw a punch at Eric, for example, if I were to aim at his chin, hoping to get a knockout out of that, okay, he's not just going to stand there and allow me to do that. He's going to move his head, all right? So in this case, notice what he did. He moved his head, protect himself, and what's going to happen here is I'm going to hit him in his nose or the top of his forehead, okay? I'm not going to get the desired effect, which is to hit the jaw and knock him out. However, If I aim for the throat, the jugular notch area here, that's my target. That's what I focus on, and that's what I'm aiming at. Any reaction out of him will line his chin up with my punch. Okay, even if he's moving to his right or to his left, if I hold my hand here, notice what happens if he moves slightly to the right, just lean over this way. Okay, his chin will always drop down. So if I aim for his throat and he moves to the right, okay, if I aim for his throat and I line it up over here and he moves his chin to duck, he's going to line right up with the fist. So the key is, aim for the throat, you'll probably hit the chin. You aim for the chin, you're probably going to hit him in the forehead. So here's your target area. This is actually where you want to fixate as you're fighting. The other thing that this allows you to do is to see the entire periphery. You can see his arms, you can see his legs, you can see his head. You have a focal point where you can use your peripheral vision to kind of see everything to the outside. Whereas if you get the game here where you focus on his eyes and get an eye-to-eye contact here, you tend to not look at the legs or the arms. None of that. He'll tend to fake you out. He could fake you out just with the expressions on his face. He'll get you focused on what he's thinking or his facial expression, and you're not going to see the punches coming. Disregard his face. Okay, only thing you care about his face is hitting it. Other than that, you want to focus right here, center mass, around the throat, jugular notch area for your strikes. All right, so we talked about just now with an offensive one punch. We close the gap, stepping off and punching at the same time. Imagine if you had a pole attached to your wrist and to your ankle. Okay, everything moves together. If I step off and punch first, what's going to happen is he's going to see that movement, he's going to react, and I'm not going to hit him. I'm probably going to miss. Okay, so if I do the other way, if I lead first, I'm not going to get the range I need. Same thing, you see the punch coming, he's going to react, and now I'm stepping, trying to catch up with him. I'm going to lose the effect. You want that element of surprise. So the only way you're going to achieve that is by stepping off and punching at the same time. The other thing that stepping off allows you to do, since it is an offensive punch, is it puts power behind my technique. Jabs are generally not used as destruction techniques or destruction punches. They're usually used to set up your opponent, okay? And in other words, to set up or distract him. I usually use a jab, as most boxers or most fighters do, is to set up the right hand. I'll throw the jab to check my range and his distance and my distance, and to distract and make him focus on this as opposed to this, my right hand, or a kick or whatever else I'm going to do to him. So basically, it's used for distance estimation and to a limited degree for destruction. However, I have knocked out guys with just a single jab because I was able to step in with my weight and put the punch behind it. And it can be a very effective move.
Beginner's technique number 3.
I'm going to teach you 4 basic falling techniques. The first one is from the front. We're going to practice this one and start. You're going to treat the hand, from the tip of the hand to the elbow, as your cushion. The first thing I want you to pay attention to and not get confused about, don't do this, do not slap the ground. None of these am I teaching you to slap the ground. This works on a cushioned indoor surface. If all the hostile situations that you ever have occur on that kind of surface, then you can slap the ground. Otherwise, don't do it. It hurts. It breaks the bones in your hand. It deadens the nerves momentarily, and it doesn't provide any more cushioning effect than if you pay attention to the technique. You're making your hands like a hollow here. Spread them out, okay? On the knees, hands up. Number 1, this is your cushion. You're going to lay all this down. I'm going to show you with one arm at a time. You're going to lay all of this down so it strikes the ground from the tip of your finger to your elbow in that order, but not like this, almost at the same time, but lead with the tips of your fingers. The tips of your fingers tells the rest of you how close you are to the ground first. The second thing, face forward fall. You just got pushed from behind without warning. There's a 12-inch high planter in front of you. You're going face down without warning. All you need for protection, these are the cushions. They come up as you get to the ground. Turn your face to the side.
Remember, I'm giving away a $100 Commando fixed blade knife for free. There are only 200 available. Just pay shipping and it's yours. Get to the link in the description right away. Okay, back to our video.
Front falling practice. It's very simple, but You think about it. Without warning, you get hammered from behind, you're falling face down. This injury is a common occurrence. Turn your face to the side, use your cushion. Here's the mistakes you can make. When you're practicing with the cushion, this is a common injury also from front falling, is down on the wrist, broken wrist. If it's a hard fall and you're being pushed, if this hits down first, nothing takes the shock, the wrist breaks. Okay? Coming down, elbow hits first, that's obvious. You have a broken elbow. Use the cushion, turn your face to the side, front falling. You need to practice this by yourself. Then when you're ready, you have your training partner come behind you, push you forward, push you forward, push you forward. Have a force behind you, pushing you forward. When you have this, when it's automatic, you have a self-defense technique. Okay, rear falling. Same problem we're going to have. You get in a confrontation and somebody's going to push you from the front. You're going to fall backwards. This one uses the same technique. These are your cushions again, okay? You start this practice from a seated position, and you're going to learn now how to control your head. When you hit down with a shock in reverse, your head is approximately 30% of the way to your body. It takes some neck muscle control to control your head from going back. Number one technique, when you're being thrown backwards, tuck your chin. Tuck your chin every time. You come back, practice this, put your hands in front, you have your cushion, roll back, plant, and tuck your chin, bring your knees up. When you start practicing and make more movement, roll back, hit like that. Plant the cushion, don't smack the ground, plant the cushion, and up. Final practice from the rear is you start from this position, on your toes, same. I want you to first roll back off of it, plant the cushion, tuck your chin. And last, when you're good, start on a matted surface. It's not a problem. What I don't want to see happen with the students is when you start and you're learning from this instructional material, what I don't want to see happen is premature injuries causing you to stop the practice. It's okay to start this falling practice on a matted surface indoor under excellent conditions. Once you get conditioned to the practice and you're good, then you do it under live conditions, outdoors, grassy fields, concrete. Once you're good at it, you can do that. This third part is you hear and jump, whoop, like that. Plant the cushion, tuck your chin. That's the number one thing, tuck your chin. Don't let your head hit. Okay, I covered, falling can be used just as a self-defense technique in itself to prevent injuries, to fall out of the way. It can also be used as a conditioning tool. It can also be used as a training aid. The number one idea behind this training aid is if you are practicing any kind of combat technique that requires a joint manipulation throw, for instance, this kind, and you're practicing with your training partner, the only way to maintain realistic, full speed, full power combat application of these techniques is if you have a training partner who is well versed in a flipping fall under the duress of a joint break manipulation. Now I'm going to show you, you're going to start the slow way. You're going to first learn a rolling fall. Rolling fall is you're going to maintain a 3-point stance. The right foot, let's start from this side, right foot slightly ahead of the left foot. You put the left hand down, and first you learn, shove your hand through the opening, just like this. Turn your head, follow this way. Up, follow this way. Next, your head's gonna follow your hand through here. And from this 3-point stance, follow through like this. Learn this part. You ready to roll? We're gonna start again. Same 3-point stance. One hand down, slightly in front of the right, here, and follow your hand through. I'm going to show you this slowly on the ground so you see the pattern you're going to make on the floor. This is back of this shoulder touches first. And you roll across your back diagonally so that this part of your back is the last to hit. I'm going to go through it again, show you the landing. 3-point stance here. Your head follows your hand through. Tuck your leg under like this. And the next run through, I'm going to show you, just roll through and stand up. The cross your back starts at this shoulder, ends up here. You're going diagonally across your back for contact. Three-point stance. Head follows your hand through and up. One more time. 3-point stance, down, hand pass through, your head follows your hand through, and up. We call that a rolling fall. Practicing for a flipping fall, we're going to start this way. You already know this 3-point stance. We're going to go back to it momentarily and use it for the flipping fall practice. The first thing you need to do is how you're going to land from a flipping fall. You've just been thrown. This is what you see. This is what you want perfect. You have to learn how to tuck your chin and keep it there. This is the only cushion you have this time because this hand's being broken with a joint manipulation. You only get one. 2 things. Don't let your head go. Don't come down flat like this. Come down on your side. What you see on the ground now is what hits first. The cushion from the tip of your finger up to your shoulder and this foot. That's what hits down first. This comes down second. Sometimes foot is coming down hard. What I want you to try and remember from this practice I'm going to show you is keep that ankle up. If that ankle bone hits first there, it's cracking. Don't let your foot down like this. Stick it up like this, okay? And you're hitting on the front of the foot. This part of your foot slaps down if you're unable to control it. Sometimes you're unable to control the speed of this foot coming down, so learn to turn it up. Then you hit on the top of your foot. You don't hit the ankle bone on the side. Okay? So this practice starts, you sit on the ground. You're going to go side to side practicing this down technique. You start here and swing up and to this side. Up and to this side. Never let your head down. This whole practice, I suggest you go side to side until your neck muscles are unable to hold your head up anymore. That's how you're strengthening them. Swing up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. Just like that. Now we're going to change the 3-point rolling fall exercise I just showed you. Show you how to practice this with the 3-point stance, and you're going to end in the position of a flipping fall. Same 3-point stance. Go here and boom. Again. Three-point stance, hand down. We're not going to touch this time. We're going to fall into it. Boom. Like that. Now I'll show you with the help of my partner what it looks like when we're going to use it for a joint manipulation. Let's try it this way. I'm going to show you a technique to use for just practicing this flipping fall to prepare you to do full power, full speed joint manipulations in these weapon disarms.
Going slow first?
Sure, we're going to walk through it. What I want you to do is you both face each other. I get this foot back. You put your hand out. You're the one doing the fall. Your partner goes over the top. He's getting ready to do a very simple joint manipulation. He steps 1 foot through, the other foot, come through with the other foot there, and here. This is the joint manipulation I want you to use. Stay there, let him see it. Is my hands being slightly tweaked in a joint manipulation. What it does is it gives you the feeling you're getting your joint locked up. Number 2, it gives you impetus to do the flipping fall. Okay, it's very simple. You can both learn it in a couple minutes. This is the easiest joint manipulation to use to learn these flipping fall techniques, because basically it's one technique. You're flipping. The harder the surface that you can do this repeatedly on without suffering ill effects or the bruises and stuff is a measure of how good your technique is and how conditioned you are getting. Because every time you're hitting the floor, it's a conditioning response to your body. Takes the shock, it wants to overcome it. If you don't overdo it too much, every time you practice, give yourself a day 2 rest between, your body rebuilds. You overcondition it by this training, and after a while, a flipping fall on concrete is going to feel the same as a flipping fall on a matted surface. Your technique will work. You won't suffer any injuries from it, and you'll be able to do full power, full speed weapon disarming techniques with another competent partner. We'll try it one time. One more walk through so they see how it works. Okay, here, step, down, go. Okay. We'll try it one time.
Full speed?
Yeah.
Beginner's technique number 2.
All right, what I want to talk about now is ground survival skills. Now, in the scope of this DVD, we don't have time to go through all the falls and how to safely get on the ground. We'll just start with you on the ground, you got knocked down, and this happens to be a fist fight right now. It's empty hand. And how do I protect myself on the ground? Well, first of all, this is the position that if you're in an unarmed situation, this is the best. This is a ground fighting position with what we call weapon side up. Now, if you carry a weapon, let's say you're a security guard or a police officer, your weapon would be here. And if he suddenly pulled a weapon himself, you can get to yours. But even if you don't have a weapon, you still want what we call the weapon side up. Now, since I'm right-handed, I want to keep my right hand up and my right leg up as well. They tend to be, stronger and more dominant. Now, I want to keep my bottom leg tucked in so he doesn't step on my ankle. I want to keep this leg like a loaded spring, and I don't want him to grab onto my foot, right? I want to keep it here. Now, from this position, let's purely talk about movement right now. Obviously, he sees I'm protecting myself, so he might try to run around me. If that's the case, you will rotate. But let's say he's too fast and now he's getting behind my back. Now I did what's called a flip-flop, right? And if he goes back to that direction, I may flip-flop. Yeah, now granted, I want to be with weapon side up, but if all of a sudden he's too fast for me, you have to sacrifice and do a flip-flop, all right? You stay there, Steve. Now, that's a simple rotation just to get away from him, all right? What about if he starts moving in on me, right? Well, that is where simple slamming kick will work, all right? We just call this a simple forward kick. Don't do anything fancy. Don't be doing crescent kicks. Don't be doing scissor locks as he's come in. No, just take your heel of your foot and try to break that knee. And that's going to be more effective than any other type of kick. Because if I could take that knee out, well, he's going to lose mobility, and I can eventually get out of here. But if I'm trying to kick groin, or I'm trying to kick his stomach, there's a good possibility he's going to grab on. I can't reach him with my hands, so this merely is in case I screw up, and it's possible. All right? Let's say he suddenly outmaneuvered me, and now he tries to kick me in the face. Okay, well, that's when your arms come to block, right? Because maybe I couldn't get my leg up there in time. Now, Steve gets back. Now, here's what I'd like for you to do at home if you have a good training partner. It's a very simple ground training exercise that I developed called head tapping drill. It's a simple drill where for about 10 seconds, he's going to try to outmaneuver me and just tap the top of my head. That's it. That's the drill. Now, obviously, if he could tap the top of my head, then he can punch me in the head, or he could, put a knife through my neck. but the main thing is I'm going to try to keep him away from me. Now, for training and safety, I'm going to avoid his knee. And I'm just going to go for shins or for his thigh. Now, we're not going to go, obviously, 100% or somebody's going to get hurt. But if you go about half speed to 3/4 speed, and the instructor eventually stops you at 10 seconds, then, that's the drill. So now I could, let's take a look at it and make comments afterwards. So, go. And stop. Now, if you want to go a little bit harder, put some boxing gloves on, maybe some shin pads, and do it. But always be careful with the knees.
Last reminder of the special giveaway I set up for 200 lucky guys. I'm giving away a $100 Commando fixed blade knife for free. There are only 200 available. Just pay shipping and handling, and this baby is yours for free. Get to the link in the description in time, and I'll rush one out to you right away.
Beginner's technique number 1.
What we're going to talk about are really 6 different ways of moving her body. The goal is that we are tied at the hip. We are a synonymous pair. I move right along with her. We are responsive to each other. My gesture becomes her movement, and I'm allowed to move her out of the way of danger while stepping in the way of danger. But there's another challenge with companion control that you really need to get. Is that because I have one hand on my companion in a conflict, so I'm with Penny, and somebody's coming from this angle, I don't have the freedom to disengage and go after him, because he might not be alone. Matter of fact, he might be a decoy. The real threat could be coming from the other side to snatch Penny. If it's your child, it's the same thing. If it's a client that you were working, it'd be the same thing. I am aware that I have one hand on my companion. So that leaves me really one hand and one leg to deal with the attack. So we're going to go ahead and show you a couple ways of really, very simply moving the people you're with. And it's a very subtle thing that you want to start to develop. But there's also one other factor, which is communication. When you go out with your significant other, all right? No matter where you go, you should always talk about safety issues. If it's nighttime, it's 11 o'clock at night, and you're parked back in the alley, or you're parked back in the parking lot, you should talk to her before we go out. We're going to say, hey, hold on for a second. Let me take a look here. If there's somebody I see, I'll say, hey, Penny, why don't we switch sides? So I'm simply going to switch her over, and we're going to continue on about our way. But the idea is, look at my body, look at hers. Everything about me is connected. I'm always in a connect position where I can handle, shift, move her back, turn her as I grab her hand, and we're out the other way. I have the kidneys right here, the kidneys here, right on the hip, because this is where the base of the body works. So if I just with my fingers, kind of like the yellow pages, I just move her and she kind of moves right with it, especially if we've already talked about this, okay? So same thing, I'm here, I move her, and we move. The idea is, and I'm going to show you right now. Come right back here, Penny. All right, turn the face here. All right, we're sitting right here. As we're walking, my right hand is on her right hip, leaving me my left side to defend, my left side to handle whatever has to be handled. As I walk, 1 or 2 steps, I'm going to see something happening on this side that makes me nervous. So I'm going to accordion right into the hip area, and I'm going to slide her right across into this hand, right here, and I'm going to shift over and in. Now I want you to notice her shoulder is against my arm. So I'm in a position to really move her. So I'm working one side as we walk to another. As I move back, and I want you to see something. I come up to the camera, which I'm almost at the point where I can't walk any further. So what I'm going to do is grip her hand, turn her around as I cover. My elbow slides across her, grips her hip, and we walk the other way. I shift her, I shift her, I shift, and now watch. I can hold grip the arm, pull her right around, and I'm right back to where I was. The whole idea of companion control is touch and sensitivity about movement. It's how I move through the gap, realizing that we are no longer independent bodies. We are one. We are synonymous. Her actions are my actions, and my actions are her actions. They have to be, because otherwise I won't effectively control her. And as a result of me not moving properly with her, she'll be moving one way, I'll be moving the other. So the same thing we're talking here, with my hand up on the neck. We're just going to simply walk and watch the same thing. You feel my fingers there, Penny? I'm just very lightly going to touch and guide her over. And I'm here again, right? Nice, simple control. I touch, guide. She feels it, and she knows, because we've already talked about this, so she makes the transition right over to the side. Let's say we'll come on back a little bit. We're walking, and I have my hands on her neck. Now, again, I have her arm in position where I can, if I need to, I can push down. Let's say there's a shooting. Gunfire does happen, everybody, all right? And you never know where you're going to be. If gunfire does happen, are you going to both keep standing up trying to figure out what's going on? Well, no, if there's a doorway, I'm going to be what? Look at my thumb. My thumb now moves her. Same position, come right here, my thumb. The same hand position allows my fingers and arm to pull, take, and now I'm in on the hip and covering. And right where the camera is, that's where our car is. But it's been a pretty nice night, and we're close, and we're walking the whole night, and here comes Edson. Now stop right there. I see Edson. Now let's say he was hiding in a bush. But because I'm scanning my environment, because of my responsibilities, I see Edson at least 10, 12 feet away from me. Now that still gives me enough time to redirect, at least if he's by himself. If nothing else, I can turn and I can run with her. But that doesn't mean he's not going to pursue. The idea is if he comes up quick as I'm walking and I see him and he comes up, I'm going to shift her over back. I'm going to tell him to back the F up, and we're going to go the other direction for safety. Forget the car. I'm no longer going for the car. Come here. Because I don't know if Edson is alone. I don't know if there are 3 or 4 other people back there, and he's just a scout. I have to do everything in my power to make sure she is safe. And that means acknowledging as I come up, I see Edson, I shift, I say, back up. What am I using? I'm using my command presence. I'm using my voice. I'm using my gestures. Have I ever come off, Penny? Have I ever disengaged when I acknowledged Edson? I always kept in contact with her, and look at my shoulder with her. My hand is on her hip. I'm in position to really move and pick her up and go. At the same time, trying to get away from Edson, but I may not. I may not be able to get away from Edson. So what am I going to do? How do I handle that? Let's say I missed the mark, I'm not paying attention. We just had a great evening, and my mind is on other things. And guess what? There's the predator. Matter of fact, we were parked in the back of the parking lot, and we never even stopped, or I never stopped to assess my environment. I never stopped to threat assess where my car was, and was there anybody even standing at my car? Because chances are, you'll see knuckleheads like Edson standing around your car, or lingering around areas that get close to your car. So what I want to work on is, come here, Penny, for a second. You're here. Edson, come in here for a second. And we're going to show this, very nice and smooth. As I'm shifting, Edson's going to come in with a 2-hand grab. He's coming right now. Let's back up a bit. All right, as I'm walking, I shift her. He makes the grab. Boom, I'm in a half maze. I didn't do the full maze, did I? It's just a half. I'm simply wedge blocking, and at the same time, striking. When I come off of her for a split second, it's to rip, tear, get rid of him, and now we're out the door. I always assume the worst. I always assume he's not alone. I always assume if he's coming from this angle, that's the angle I'm worried about. And if it works out that he is alone, well then guess what? I covered my ass and I'm protecting my companion. That's what this is all about. So let's try this again. I'm walking to this side. Edson's gonna come and he's gonna come with a right hand punch at my face. Why? Because he's looking to knock me out and take Penny, at least for 15 minutes. That's what he wants. Well, knocking me out is not gonna happen, nor is separating me from Penny going to happen. Everything I do is about how I companion control. So when I'm walking, he's gonna come at my head. I see him, I'm a shifter, he comes, I'm gonna make the half maze. Now, because I'm alone out here, I am going to disengage from Penny for a second, but I'm gonna come off into what we were working in the prior sections, right? Eyes, spin, get him away. As soon as I push him away, I'm now back on Penny. The idea of companion control is about communication. It's about connectedness. It is about your sense of power and your comfort zone in the environment you are in. Because believe me, when I'm with somebody, the last thing you're gonna do is come fuck with me. Because you're gonna pay the price if you do. It's gonna cost you your life. The idea is simple. I want my companion to trust me so that when I say we have to go somewhere, she goes. She doesn't question, she doesn't argue because she has faith in who I am because we've talked, and it expedites our escape because she becomes a very willing participant in this process. So it doesn't take just one quality. You have to have multiple qualities. Just remember, turn around, I have shoulder, neck. My hand is a dual tool. I can move her this way, move her this way. I can peel her back, but watch both hands. You see how I steer her with my hands? Watch her hip. I steer her with the hip. But I'm using dual actions, just like the self-defense class, right? Dual action, spin, turn her, and go. And guess what? There are many times that you're gonna jerk her and her balance is gonna get lost. Believe me, she's gonna stumble into you. That's okay, because that's why I have her here. So when she loses balance, I just continue her up and we go, okay? I'm there to take control of the balance that she might lose because of my inconsistent jerk. Because when I start moving her, she might not always be right there with me, or it might take her off balance. That's okay. That's why we're using more than just our hands. Everything is tight, everything is apart. So when I move her, now watch something. It's a drill I want you to work with, so anyone that you can do this with. Put both your arms around, and you're gonna just simply move, okay? And this is, you're gonna move, and you're gonna start shifting out, full body shifts. You see my arms hooking her arms? I'm very simply guiding her while I'm able to protect. I'm guiding her back while I'm able to protect. But look at my body contact. I'm in contact with her. There are some people that talk about being disengaged. Look, I don't know what the right way to do this is. I don't think there is a right way. I think everybody's build is different. Everybody's approach is different. So what I'm trying to do is develop rapport. And I do that by what? By just like it rolling off my body. This is where it is, okay? And it allows me to what? To move her and to keep moving her, right? The idea is companion control is about touch, it's about manipulation, it's about a connectedness with that person so that when you instinctively start to move, they're gonna move with you. It's about applying half of the maze, not the full maze, because I don't really want to come off until I have to. So if somebody's coming, I'll be moving her off and blocking and striking at the same time, because that's what the maze is about. And I'll come off for a split second to rip the eye or the throat, and then I'm where? I'm right back on top of her, and where are we? Am I still waiting here thinking, waiting for him to get up? Hell no, I'm like gone. And I'm gonna help her be gone. So if she's not very fast, she will be when I get my hands on her and we get down the road. So when you think about this, think about companion control as the ultimate in self-defense.
Thanks for watching our video lessons here at TRS Direct. Hit the like button down below and consider subscribing to our channel here on YouTube. Hit the bell icon and we'll send you a notification when there's a new lesson available. Thanks again for watching.